The story continues. While another threatened Damien, saying no one went unpunished after challenging the Black Snake. That was when Damien remembered who those men were. The Black Snake was a criminal organization that had been growing rapidly in Manhwa, gaining power and influence. He recalled that this bar was the exact place he had been kicked out of in the past after complaining about the overpriced, terrible food. It was there that they had beaten him in front of everyone to set an example. Upon remembering this, he concluded that he was the one who should be receiving an apology, not the other way around. As he reflected, one of the guards asked why he was smiling. He warned that he wouldn't go easy on him just because he was a noble. As the guard lunged to attack, Damien simply put his foot out, tripping him and sending him face first into the ground. He told himself that, to be honest, he should kill them right there. But he decided to resist the temptation for the sake of his family. So he stabbed the guard in the leg to keep him from getting up, but left him alive. Other individuals appeared, looking like mercenaries, asking who the hell that kid was. The man who seemed to be their leader asked if he belonged to another organization. Damien replied no, saying he only wanted to apologize. But at that moment, he realized once again that he was the one who deserved an apology. Still, he stuck to his goal of speaking to the owner and politely asked if that man could take him to him. The blue-eyed man responded that he had no idea what Damien was talking about and said there was nothing to discuss. He ordered them to just drag him out by force. 3 guards rushed at once, but Damien, faster than an arrow, defeated them with just a few knife strikes. The leader was stunned to see the 3 lying on the ground, knocked out. Damien was breathing heavily, saying to himself that he was tired of doing this and admitting he was out of shape. He asked if the blue-eyed man wanted to continue, but the man quickly gave up, saying he was sorry and that he would arrange the proper apology. Even so, Damien did not trust him and chased him like a dog after its prey. Soon after, everyone in the bar was shocked to see a guard, who had seemed so confident before, being dragged with a knife pressed to his neck. Damien realized he might have gone too far and thought that was why they should have listened to him from the start when he was still calm and polite. He wiped the blood from his face with a cold stare, which scared everyone in the bar, making them run outside fearing for their lives. Feeling there was no one left to stop him, he prepared to leave without further obstacles. However, the bar owner, Anderson Hong, finally appeared. He watched Damien with suspicion and asked about the guards. Damien replied coldly that he had already dealt with them. Anderson was surprised to realize that this boy had defeated members of the group known as the Black Snake. He wondered who he really was and why he was disrupting his business. Damien introduced himself as a member of the Haxon family from the Vi County, explaining that he was not there to cause trouble. In fact, he wanted an apology from Anderson himself. He told him that he had complained about the absurdly high prices at the bar, which had earned him a beating and the humiliation of being thrown out. After that, he became known in the city as a drunk who caused problems, seriously harming his family's reputation and assets. Anderson showed disdain, saying he did not care about honor and that the Haxon County had none. He mocked the Muian idea of apologizing to Damien and demanded payment for the damages. Damien then realized he had no intention of resolving things peacefully. Determined to force an outcome, he used a chair and a table for momentum and, with a quick leap, closed in on Anderson to attack him. But before the blow landed, another person appeared and intercepted the attack. This new figure radiated powerful energy. Anderson looked relieved and commented that Ted had arrived just in time. Even Damien was surprised by the strength of this opponent, knowing that someone with that level of power would not work in a regular bar. It was explained that knights followed a path of martial arts throughout their lives and were ranked according to their skill. There were recruits, apprentice knights, and official knights. Officials were so strong they could use their aura to cut mountains, being seen as almost transcendent beings. Anderson, excited, explained that Ted was an apprentice knight, very close to the Black Snake boss, assuring that Damien was dead. Damien reflected that this explained the aura he had felt, though he wondered how he had sensed it if Ted had not even fully materialized it. He guessed Ted might be a reject, someone who had failed to become an official knight and ended up involved in crime. Anderson then asked how much it would cost for Ted to take care of Damien, but Ted ignored the price for now and showed hatred, saying he would first rip out the noble's mouth. Ted's first attacks were easily dodged by Damien, who noted his opponent's skill despite the still somewhat uncoordinated movements. Even so, he recognized that his current body was near its limit, since he needed to strengthen his energy to fight better. Increasingly irritated, Ted decided to use a secret technique. Damien noticed this and focused, remembering a specific technique he could use in response. He recalled a terrible enemy, who in the past had caused problems for Dorgo, the legendary assassin known as the Master of Deathblade or Phantom Assassin, who killed not only demons, but humans for fun. In that memory, the Phantom Assassin threatened him, telling him to leave if he wanted to live. But Damien, as a Death Knight, did not back down. The assassin promised to make him another of his victims, saying he would show him his secret technique. He explained that the human body is made mostly of water, and upon reaching a certain level of mastery, it was possible to use this technique to cut through the body easily, even with a wooden sword. He then sliced the knight in half with the Deathblade. However, even after being split, the knight regenerated in a bizarre way, with the flesh rearranging itself until he stood up again. This happened because he was no longer a living human, but rather an undead. After learning the technique from his opponent, the Death Knight watched the Phantom Assassin carefully, and with a precise move, defeated him, using the enemy's own technique without even needing a sword, just his hands. The Phantom Assassin, stunned, could not understand how Damien had learned his secret so quickly. In the memory, Damien thought it had always been like that. Enemies never believed in their own death. Since becoming the Death Knight, he had gained a rare ability that allowed him to absorb the techniques of those he defeated. Back in the present, Ted was also in shock. He had been hit by his own technique and was trying to understand how that was possible. Anderson, the bar owner, panicked when he realized what was happening. Sweating cold, he fell to his knees, banged his head on the floor, and begged for forgiveness, apologizing for the dishonor he had caused Damien's family. To try to calm things down, Anderson offered a large sum of money as compensation. Damien thought that all he had wanted was a simple apology, but admitted to himself that the extra payment was not bad at all. Even so, he said it still was not enough, but that he would let it go this time. He turned to Victor, asking him to quickly pack all the money and valuables. Victor obeyed, but remained stunned by everything he had seen. He wondered where Damien had learned such impressive skills. When they finally left the bar, Anderson and the guards, even injured, wished them a good trip back. Victor commented, wide-eyed, that he had never seen so much money together. But inside, Anderson was swearing he would find a way to get it all back, planning to turn to the Black Snake boss. Before they got too far, Damien returned and cut off Anderson's ear as a final punishment, saying he had almost forgotten the punishment he deserved. He threatened that Anderson could talk to the Black Snake boss if he wanted, but if he dared to touch his family, he would not live to see the next day. Anderson was terrified, realizing he would not get rid of that problem so easily. Damien reflected in silence. He knew that this revenge would not erase his past sins, but in this new life, he would no longer allow himself to shame his family. He turned to Victor and said it was time to go home. Sure, they had great news to share. Meanwhile, in another region, in the Marquisate of Lion Bloom, a man looked at himself in the mirror and spoke to his brother about an old saying that pain always follows love. The brother, confused, asked why he was saying that, wanting to know if he planned to pick a fight with someone. The man replied that on the contrary, he was thinking about finding a new love. The next morning in the Haxenby County, Damien woke up satisfied. He commented that it had been a long time since he had had such a good night's sleep. Victor, on the other hand, confessed that he had not managed to close his eyes because he kept reliving the brutal scenes from the previous day, with arms and legs flying. Damien admitted that things had not gone exactly as planned, but they ended up with a good reward. More importantly, he knew that the rumors about what happened would spread quickly, and that this would make people take the Viscount's family more seriously. He even hoped to improve a little his own reputation as a troublemaking son. Victor had not thought of that before, but admitted that Damien was aware of who he was and the past he carried. He praised that, in the end, everything had worked out, but expressed concern about the Black Snake organization. He knew they were not just common thugs, since they had even hired an apprentice knight. Damien, however, replied that it did not matter how bold they were. They would never risk attacking a noble family directly. Even if they tried, he would find a way to deal with them. Victor, impressed, acknowledged that Damien's sword techniques were much more refined than he had imagined. Curious, he asked where he had learned them. Damien simply replied that he trained from time to time. Suddenly, Paul appeared furious, demanding to know where Damien had been all day, and asking if he had not gotten into more trouble. Damien calmly replied that he had already taken care of everything and asked Victor to show the reward they had brought. Victor then opened the bag full of money. Paul and Marilda were dazzled by the shine of the coins. Marilda even fainted in surprise. Damien, smiling, explained that he had gone to the bar just to apologize, but the math was wrong, so the bar owner gave him that as an apology. Paul asked if it was true and if he could trust him. Marilda, half passed out, commented that it probably was, since she did not see where Damien could have gotten so much money otherwise. Damien looked at Victor, waiting for support. Victor sighed and confirmed the story, even though he found it all absurd. In the end, he thought to himself that young Master Damien really was a compulsive liar. Later, Damien was running through the mountains. He thought that even though he had not run for that long, he was already out of breath. He recognized that his body was weak and slow, and that he had a lot of work ahead, but in that condition, he would get nowhere. His only luck was having gotten a special vial that Anderson had given him. It was a tonic produced by an alchemy academy, known for greatly boosting vital energy. Damien remembered asking Anderson what exactly this alchemy academy was, and he had explained that it was a group of alchemists specialized in creating tonics as valuable as precious stones. When he drank the tonic, Damien felt the effect almost immediately. His body felt much stronger and full of energy. He concluded that the mixture was really potent. To reach the level he had in his past life, he knew he needed much more energy and vitality. It was not just about growing stronger out of pride. Damien carried with him the memory of a dark future. In a few years, Dorgo would raise an army of the undead and try to conquer the world once more. He promised himself that this time, he would gather enough strength to kill him before that happened, and thus protect his family's happiness. Meanwhile, in the suburbs of Landwalk, in the Black Snake hideout, the atmosphere was tense. The organization's boss, Cedric Walker, commented that it was a pity because Ted had been his best hire, but now was useless. He ordered the guards to get rid of him, saying they could dump him anywhere since they had enough money to buy whoever they wanted. But Ted got up with difficulty, and even injured, said it would not end like that. Cedric was surprised to see he still had the strength to stand, and commented that if he could fight again, he would hire him back. However, before Ted could react, he was restrained by black magic that bound his arms and legs. A dark mage who was there asked the boss if Ted was the first target of the contract. Cedric confirmed, saying it would be a good chance to test his skills. The dark mage then summoned demonic creatures made of pure darkness, which completely surrounded Ted and devoured him. In the end, only a foot was left. Cedric found the scene disgusting and asked the mage to be cleaner next time. The dark mage understood the criticism and wanted to know the next target. Cedric explained that was exactly why he had been hired. Someone had hurt the organization's reputation, a noble. He admitted dealing with him would be more complicated, but the instruction was clear: cause as much damage as possible. He had already paid the mage in advance and told him to leave the rest to him. Sure, it would be handled easily. And that's the end of this chapter. If you enjoyed the recap, don't forget to like, comment which part hyped you the most, and subscribe for the next episode. See you in the next upload.